In this video, you're going to learn about the licensing and software every worship ministry needs. My name is Jake Gosselin with churchfront.com, an online resource for worship leaders and creatives. If this type of content is up your alley, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you will know when our latest videos are released. In a few weeks, I'll be the interim worship pastor at Mission Lakewood Church. But this is no ordinary interim gig. I won't be showing up to a church building containing all the luxuries of an established church. Mission Lakewood has no building. It has no band equipment. Heck, there isn't even a band yet. I will be building a worship ministry from the ground up because Mission Lakewood is a church plant. I'm an interim worship leader. It gives me the flexibility to build Churchfront and make videos like this so I can help people like you. And I also kind of have an allergy to full-time employment like a lot of millennials. So this strange life of running small businesses and leading worship part-time suits me well. And a few weeks ago, my friend Darvin, the lead pastor of Mission Lakewood Church, approached me and said, "Hey man, we're having a tough time finding a worship pastor for our church plant. We've worked through a bunch of applications and interviews and none were the right fit. Do you know anyone who would be a good fit?" To which I replied, "Yeah, I know this one guy in town. He's looking to transition from his current worship leading role. I'll ask him. If he can't do it, let's talk about me helping you get this thing off the ground." So a month went by, and it turns out that the other worship leader I referred couldn't do it. Then Darvin came back to me and asked, "Hey, do you want to be our interim worship leader for a few months just to get us off the ground?" We launched January 28th. So after a lengthy conversation with my wife, who is pregnant with twins, and those twins happened to be due the week before the church launch, I went back to Darvin with my somewhat insane decision and told him, "Yep, I'm in." That is what brought me to my current situation. I need to build and launch a worship ministry within the next month. I'm going to document the process for the sake of your entertainment, education, and inspiration. There are a few key areas I'm focusing on to ensure this worship ministry launches successfully. First, I need to set up an efficient system for weekly planning and administrative tasks. Then I need to recruit and train volunteers for the band and production team. And I need to acquire all the necessary band equipment before the launch. Sounds easy, right? I don't know exactly what this will look like, but over the next few weeks and months, you can expect most of the content from Churchfront to come out of this process. Depending on what I'm working on, I'll share it with you in blog, video, or podcast form. Make sure you're subscribed to all three. Now I'll begin documenting the process. In the remainder of this video, I'm going to outline the basic licensing and software tools I'll be using to lead worship at Mission Lakewood. Every time I build a worship ministry at a new church, I'm reminded of these foundational tools I often take for granted at established churches. CCLI copyright license. The first step is to ensure we cover all the legal bases so we can worship God without getting slammed with a copyright fine. I'm not sure who actually enforces this type of thing, but it is fair to make sure Chris Tomlin, Joel Houston, and Jason Ingram rake in the royalty checks. Depending on your church's needs, CCLI covers the activities of storing lyrics, printing songs, recording services, making custom arrangements, projecting lyrics, and translating songs. CCLI Rehearsal license. I like sharing MP3 files with my band so they can practice at home on their own time. I export my multi-track sessions so they can rehearse with the arrangements the exact way they will be played with the click and cues. The Rehearsal license ensures I can legally distribute those audio files with my band. CCLI Song Select. I'm not a huge fan of CCLI Song Select chord charts, but I subscribe to it for the sake of convenience of importing lyrics into ProPresenter and Planning Center. I prefer creating my own charts or purchasing Chord Pro version from PraiseCharts.com. Nevertheless, Song Select is on my list of tools because it syncs well with ProPresenter and Planning Center. You'll notice so far that CCLI has made a decent chunk of change off of my worship ministry. These subscriptions cost $244 per year. That price will increase as the church attendance grows. Fun fact, CCLI serves 250,000 churches worldwide. Let's assume all these churches are pretty small and they only need basic licensing, so they pay about $120 a year. That's an annual revenue of $30 million. I'm not sure how much of that is paid out to publishers and songwriters or how that all works and how much CCLI keeps, but I do know that worship music is big business. Now that licensing is out of the way, it's time to move on to software. Planning Center services. I've been using Planning Center for about 7 years. Over that time period, they have proven themselves as the leader in church management software industry. If Planning Center is not running your church database, I'm sorry to hear that. To get started at Mission Lakewood, we will subscribe to the $29 a month services app. That should be enough to cover our team's current size. I will use Planning Center to store my song library, plan services, schedule volunteers, and resource musicians. ProPresenter 6. I've also been a ProPresenter user for about the past 7 years. To be honest, I actually find ProPresenter to be a little clunky, but it's the best option out there to do everything I need presentation software to do in worship. I like to control ProPresenter with Ableton Live so I can have perfect lyric slides and customized background cues throughout a song. We will also need to purchase the ProPresenter MIDI module to make this possible. Dropbox for Teams. Dropbox is my favorite way to sync lyric and media files for ProPresenter across multiple computers. I've tried using ProPresenter Cloud, but when I tried it a couple years ago, it was clunky and never worked right. Dropbox is a much bigger company with a better cloud infrastructure. I simply create a folder in Dropbox to hold my ProPresenter library, and I create other Dropbox folders to hold media. That way I can easily keep everything synced no matter what device I prepare my ProPresenter slides. That is about it for the foundational licensing and software tools I'll need to get started with my worship ministry at Mission Lakewood. We'll talk about music software and a bunch of other gear and a bunch of other things I need to get ready in later videos. What other tools would you add to this list? I'm open to updating it. I want to hear your opinions and additions to this list in the comments below. I'm working on building the ultimate worship leaders toolkit. It's a document containing all the latest and greatest software, gear, and other resources for your worship ministry. It's continuously being updated and it'll save you a bunch of time locating the right tools for your worship ministry. Access the guide by clicking the button below, completing the form, and I'll send it to your email inbox. If you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up button, share it with all your worship ministry friends, and subscribe to the Churchfront channel so you can receive all of our latest content.